Hey, vinyl community, it's Eric. I am back with two things, some CDs I picked up today, and then I want to show some vinyl because I know it's the VC and I don't show as much vinyl as I would like to, but I just haven't been buying vinyl lately. I went to my local used record store today, one that I go to about every 6 months, and just kind of poking around. I have a short list of things I've been looking for, and I found a couple of them, and I stumbled across some things that I picked up because they were within my price range, and I've been wanting to get them. So we're going to start off with the Flesh Eaters CD reissue of A Minute to Pray, A Second to Die. This is one of those great shambling early 80s LA punk bands that was more of a rootsy kind of a thing. There's some blues in here. There's some weirdo jazz. This is definitely an acquired taste. I used to have this on LP and I sold it years ago. It went away during my Great Purge. And slowly this is a band that I've been coming back to and rediscovering. And yeah, cool disc. I actually reviewed this on an episode of Love That Album podcast. I think last year with my buddy Tim Merrill, we did this and No Means No album. So I got that. And then for $5, they also had a more recent Flesh Eaters album, which I've never owned. And I figured, what the hell, $5, I'll check it out. Christie, the main guy in the Flesh Eaters, is currently a film programmer. He's also written a couple of books focusing on the Japanese gangster film genre. So he's got kind of a cool background as far as film and noir and pulp and that kind of stuff goes, along with the punk rock. So, all right, getting into our topic for today. Billy Hurst had mentioned something about women in country music who are just killing it. And his taste in country is maybe a little more mainstream than mine, and that's not a slight. That's just a preference. I prefer mine to be more on the roots rock, alt country edge, maybe not the Nashville sound. That said, and I've shown these before, I do like Miranda Lambert. I've got another one of her discs that's out in the car. But I picked up Jessi Colter. This was $5 too. Recent CD. I don't own any of her stuff. She's on a couple of the Waylon albums that I own, who was, of course, her husband. So I figured for $5 I'd check that out. And then the two I've been looking for. This is Jade Jackson. This is her first album. I've been listening to it on Spotify. Produced by Mike Ness of Social Distortion. Cool stuff. Nice, clean. That's obviously a promo copy that somebody sold. Whatever. Got some dollars into the local record store for this. And then also Nikki Lane, Queen of the Highway. Also an up-and-coming kind of fringe of Nashville, fringe of the alt country scene songwriter. I enjoy her stuff quite a bit. So I got that as well. I'll be spinning those in the car. So women in country music. I'm a big fan of women in bands and making music, and I enjoy hearing their point of view. I enjoy hearing good voices. I enjoy just good music, and I don't really care if it's coming from men or women, but I find that I have a definite interest in the music made by women. In fact, I have a podcast, my Love That Album podcast, compilation edition that's coming out for July, is about the discussion in the top women in rock and roll. So that's forthcoming. But I showed this a while back. I got this at Salvation Army. Roseanne Cash, Johnny Cash's daughter. I got one of her more recent albums that I haven't shown, but solid songwriter, singer who's coming not only from the country roots of her parents, but from rock and roll as well. I've shown this before. Let me see if I can make sure that these don't all fall over. I got to figure that one out. Tanya Tucker. This is the TNT album, where she famously was trying to kind of shed her image as a proper young lady. That's some good stuff. And speaking of her younger days, as scandalous as that is, this is Would You Lay With Me in a Field of Stone? That's pretty impressive for a teenage girl of the early 70s. You want to get on David Bowie and Jimmy Page for being into Little Girls or Ted Nugent or whatever. That one's pretty scratched up, but I got it for fairly cheap. The whole kind of jailbait thing that was going on was not just in rock and roll. And of course, somebody sent me a text. Here's Delta Dawn. Another one of her early early records, and I got these probably at a library bag sale. They were probably just giving them away at that point. They're player copies. All right, a more recent artist, and I've shown her stuff before that I like, is Lydia Lovelace. This is her more recent record, and this is definitely getting more rock and pop stuff. But her records before that definitely had more of that alt country. They're on Bloodshot. You know, Andy, if you follow Andy's Vinyl Den, you know he's a big fan of the Bloodshot record label. Good stuff. I enjoy her records. That new one isn't killing me, but I really like the earlier ones. So another artist that I've really liked was maybe a little more roots rock, and this I haven't opened because I have all the tracks on digital, is Ellen Jewell. This is her Sea of Tears. See, this is got very 50s rock and roll, but there's like folk country kind of elements to it. Her Queen of the Minor Key. Great stuff. And then Kelly Hogan. This is I Like to Keep Myself in a Little Pain. She is a cohort of Nico Case. Just great alt country stuff. This is on Anti Records. Came out a couple years ago. I probably need to spin it some more. But and then finally, I've shown this a number of times, but you know, it's probably, I have to say, one of my favorite albums. But it's Blood in the Saddle with Poison Love, featuring the amazing Annette Zalaskins, who was originally in the Bangles in the early days. She sings about half the songs, and the lead singer, the other guy in the band, I forget his name, Greg Davis, sings the rest of the songs. And then finally, because Andy's been showing all that Carter family stuff, I wanted to show this. Flowers in the Wildwood, Women in Early Country Music. So this has got the Aaron Sisters, the Carter Family, Girls of the Golden West, Chuck Wagon Gang, Patsy Montana, Wanda and Ruth Neal. This is all like 20s, 30s, early days of recorded music. This is 1923 to 1939. Great compilation. If you're at all interested in checking out that era of music, this is a great place to start. So, thanks for watching. Comments, subscribe, all that stuff below. And everyone have a good 4th of July weekend.